Right, I think we've put out some tweets earlier regarding who do we think is going to win.
Yes.
Various things.
Right.
We've asked Scully, he says Toronto are going to win. I'll get promoted. What about Super League? Who's going to come top of the pile and who's going to win it, do you think, Ledge? Bearing in mind that, because it's a top 5 again, there's actually a bit more incentive to finish first now. It's not the old, it's a hubcap, we don't want it. It's actually we need to finish first.
You know what? In 19, it is going to be Warrington's year.
Most people are saying St Helens.
It's going to be Warrington's year.
They have recruited though, haven't they? So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They've got rid of the worst marquee signing the league's ever had.
They've recruited very well, and they say Blake Austin. I'm pretty excited about seeing him, not just seeing him play, but also as well. I've read his piece in the League Express, Mark, to be honest with you, and he's coming with the right attitude. I'm reading what he's saying there, and if he's saying how he's going to address IE from a point of view, he's not come over here for a holiday. He's not thinking about going back to NRL. He signed a 4-year deal. He wants to put his mark down, not just for Super League, but also too for Warrington. So if he can just give them that 5% extra, what they have been missing, I think Warrington will finish top, and I think it's going to be Warrington's year next year. So if we can get Steve Price on, like we had Justin Holbrook, he'll do the treble. Pricey, you're doing the double. You've heard it from the legend. You're doing the double, Warrington.
If he gets that was somewhere else.
They did the double this year, and they lost in both finals.
I almost heard Steve Price fall off his chair. And
he's not punching the air.
He's gone off, for God's sake!
All the Warrington fans are doing
cancel pre-season training. No point.
Don't bother coming
Come
here.
on, it's a bit harsh. Phil, cancel pre-season training. Come on.
Go on then, Phil. Where are you going?
I actually do think that Justin Holbrook may not admit it publicly, but I think he got it slightly wrong last year.
Slightly?
That he didn't use enough players. He didn't. I don't think he fully understood the rigours and demands of the season here, and you've got to do it on 2 fronts. That will stand him in excellent stead. I think he is still the excellent coach that we thought he was up till 2/3.
Not question mentality at Saints.
No, I think that
winning the big games.
No, I think they're bringing in 3 players who will give them that. I think that
they've signed well, haven't they? Signed well.
And they've signed a couple of really good youngsters as well, who I think will come along in the midst of time. I think Alex Walmsley potentially coming back is huge for them as well, because what we forget is that he didn't play at all last year, to all intents and purposes. And I think the fact that they will be really hurting that they didn't even make the grand final, that they didn't even make the Challenge Cup final, that they were told from the outside that they disrespected the League Leaders' Shield by not celebrating that. If you need fire in your pre-season, that's it. And I think that there was a lot of focus on Ben Barber, who was brilliant for 7/8 of the season. But I think what they've now got is a deeper squad without an absolute superstar in it, and that will work for them. So I think that I'm going to go Saints. Yeah.
All right, Rich.
I think Saints. I want to say Warrington, but they always lose. But as I said a few weeks ago, I think the big outsiders would be the Catalans, because they've won their first piece of silverware this year.
They brought in the man you threw across the room.
Sam Tompkins, he's there. The rectum of what's rectum in French? Do we know? Or Catalan? We've got a big game in Barcelona. I think it's going to be a big year for the Catalans. Watching all fall apart.
What about Matty Smith? Good sign.
Experience, fresh. Didn't play much last year.
Take over.
Is he an upgrade on Drinkwater or not? And there's a question. You can answer that. You're a world quality half-back. Who would you rather pick, Drinkwater or Smith at this time?
Drinkwater.
Is Matty Smith not? He's a good player, and I mean, when Wigan got to the grand final of the year, I think it was single-handedly on his back.
Well, I've read Matty Smith's piece again in the League Express. He wants to bring that winning mentality, But I don't think it's all about the winning mentality. It's just that lacking that bit of quality. And if I'm honest with you, Drinkwater would bring that extra quality to me than what Matty Smith would do.
Kenny Edwards not coming back.
Is he not?
Rumoured to be going to Manly.
Is he? Well, that's a big loss.
But Matt Whitley is a good sign.
He's not Kenny Edwards though.
No.
And that's not a disrespect, because I said last year I was amazed no one took Whitley. He's a very good back rower, but he's not a destructive. He's not a destructive Kenny.
Well, that's
Edwards.
a big loss, and it's Kenny Edwards. He's a massive loss.
I'm just not sure consistently they can do it.
I think they can make the 5. I think the 5 works for them.
Yeah, okay. Go on then.
Well, no, I'm just thinking they're an outsider. I think with Wigan's changes, Leeds are actually going to be better than they were last year.
No one's mentioned Castleford.
Well, Castleford, the biggest signing Castleford have made this winter is Rhiannon Marshall, and she can't play in Super League. She's been good in Super League.
Can she not play that?
Well, I don't know.
Can I just mention that and say with Catalan, just with the Matt Smith situation, when he signed for St Helens, can you remember the sort of style of St Helens play? It was all a matter of like the Wigan philosophy, playing behind, and Matty was waiting till the last tackle to create something from a kicking game. He's got to get himself more involved, with the ball in hand, and instead of waiting for things to happen, he's got to make things happen. He can't just keep waiting for the last tackle and just play on field position and hope he play off back of mistakes.
But can he allow Tony Gigo to do that and Sam Tompkins to do that?
Yeah,
maybe
that's is he going to be that?
I think he will. Just
I don't want to use the word boring. That's really horrible.
No.
But the steady in hand.
He needs to get them where they need to be. Yeah.
Just let's get down.
I think if the Catalans play boring Rugby League, that'll stifle him.
I'm not saying it will.
No, he's just the one who
gets them to where they need to be.
Yeah. Speaking of Castleford, John Wells, erstwhile TV personality and director of rugby,
has he emailed him?
Well, no, but he's released a statement
saying,
as it stands, this is the story on the Castleford Tigers website. The Tigers have yet to recruit in the off-season, which of course is a lie, as we just mentioned.
Rhiannon Marshall's a big sign.
It's a big sign to leave late. She was the crucial player in that grand final.
England international.
The signings of Liam and Peter, that's as in Matasio and Watts, were considered and thought out, says John Wells, and the club paid significant transfer fees to do our business. They have added a great deal to this squad, and with the benefit of a full pre-season in our environment at Castleford, we're confident that we will continue to step up in 2019, especially when you add in the ongoing development of players like Jake Truman, the reigning Super League Young Player of the Year. We are working within the constraints of a salary-capped sport, and you've seen a number of key players such as Jake sign new and upgraded contracts, and that consistency in the squad can be a real strength. There certainly won't be wholesale changes, and the emphasis right now is finding possibly one more addition if we can. So that sounds to me like there's not many people coming in.
We made the point, and I spoke to an agent in the game who said that when Castleford started to get good, they had in effect a £2.5 million squad for £1.5 million, which meant that guys like Mike McMeekin and the younger fellas all would need a significant upgrade, and then their big challenge would be who do they let go in order to keep 2 to get rid of 1. And it's an interesting point. I thought they got the recruitment a bit wrong last year, if I'm honest. That you look back at it, and I think you could point the finger at a few that maybe haven't worked out. And I think the fact they haven't, there's no bigger advocate of Cass than me. I desperately want to win the grand final this year, but I think they might struggle.
There's one thing missing from that statement, and obviously I haven't read it all, just heard it for the first time then, but there have been a couple of players leave. Jake Webster's gone. Jai Hitchcock's gone.
Yeah.
So there should be space, you would have thought, to bring in.
Yeah, but they've just upgraded players. That's going to take that money, is it?
I wouldn't have thought all of it. And don't you have to bring in the odd?
And didn't they have to get rid of Jai Hitchcocks to get in Metaltia?
Yeah.
So they've already done that business, haven't they?
Yeah. You would have thought there would be. You'd need at least one fresh face, don't you?
Well, I'll tell you who I'm my top 5.
Is Luke? Next year. No, again, Luke Gale is going to be really important. Will he come back fit?
I'm sure he will. He's had a really unlucky year, hasn't he? Big injuries, Well, that's like saying, will Callum Watkins come back fit?
But you don't know. You don't know until you see them out there.
Yeah, he will do. He will do. Yeah, but so my top 5 for next year.
In order or just
in order? Warrington, Saints, Catalans,
3rd,
Wigan, Leeds.
No Huddersfield, have you been bigging up? No Castleford. No Hull.
Oh, Hull, no. Forget about Hull. Cass, you just mentioned from there. I just feel as though Everybody
did you not mention Wakefield?
May have worked out.
No,
No.
So you think Wakefield are going to go backwards with Donnybrook? Because they finished fifth. So the thing about it is, they bought Donnybrook to get into the playoffs. Well, actually, the last 2 years they would have been in the playoffs if we had a top five. So you don't think they're going to be in the top five?
As I said when they were interested in Donnybrook, and now they have signed Danny, and I've read what Chester's saying there, and yeah, he will talk well and what have you, but as our great colleague there, Matt Wilson, says, when it comes to the crunch, will Danny deliver? And I just feel as though, again, with the dressing room, and I know people say, oh, you've only picked Leeds because you're an ex-Leeds player. I haven't picked Leeds for that, because I feel as though now the creativity what we're looking for in that half back, a big centre what we're missing there. We've re-signed the two warriors in Ablett and JGB. They know what it's all about. Murray's being brought in from there. I think we're going to play, if I'm honest with you, maybe a type of boring game under Ferner.
No.
Well, you might know.
Well, hold on then. Is the squad good enough at Leeds? Because I don't think they've got a deep enough squad. I think that's been proven year in, year out in the last 2 years, 3 years.
With the signing what they brought in, and certainly people might say, well, we'll sign Ablett again and JGB for 2
I get that. You need, they'll do your job.
They know what it's all about from there, and I say we're bringing this kid in from Tonga from the half back up, that combination with Myler. And McLaren from there, and Murren. Yeah, I think Leeds.
McClellan's not going to play. He's not going to play.
I think Leeds have got the quality, so that's my 5. Yeah,
I think McClellan's going to play in the England
so
academy
you're shaking
game
your head
against
when I say Leeds maybe play the ball inside Rugby League. How are they going to play them?
When David Ferner did his first interview,
right,
that question was asked about the style that he would play. He was the attack coach for Souths, and they finished with the most points.
But now he's on attack coach. He's
I think he is taking in that style. They are going to play attack. They've got a 2-pronged centre partnership that if they can get the ball to them in promising positions, they're going to be virtually unstoppable. So I think they've deliberately bought Conrad Hurrell to be the kind of exciting attacking team that you would hope they would be.
It's great. To be fair, they've signed some really good players. We can't not. I mean, as much as
they've gone from quite rightly being criticised for not signing a marquee player to signing 2.
But you're telling me last year Mitch Garbutt's their best forward when fit. They've got rid of him to bring in another one. That ain't. Well, yeah, it's strengthening your side to a certain degree, but it's not beefing up your squad, is it?
I think again with their top 17 out more regularly than they were last year.
You just play a big part.
But I think there are certain years where you get more than your share.
Yeah, but on that basis, Cass and Wigan last year got hammered. Well, if they have a good year, then what happens then?
I think Leeds will be fighting for a top 5 spot.
So what's your top 5, Matt?
Absolutely, top 5.
Warrington, Saints. I wrote Wigan off last year and got hammered for it, but they have lost too many good players, and they haven't as yet replaced them. They're not spending any money. People can say what they want about Sam Tompkins. He was one of the best players in Super League by a mile.
John Bateman and Ryan Sutton,
one of the best players. Sean O'Loughlin signed a new deal. He's 36 years old this week. He's playing less and less and less, and I still maintain that Sean. How many times did he play for Wayne that next year he might go, you know what, sod it. I've been here all my career. If I'm not fit, I'm not playing. He might do that. I might be speaking badly out of turn. I just think if you take him, Bateman and Tompkins out, that is too much.
So they're not making the 5?
They don't make the 5 for me.
Right. So you've got Warrington
Saints. Oh, you don't like Wigan.
So you've got Warrington Saints.
Warrington Saints. I think Wakefield will definitely be in the top 5 this year. Definitely. If they stay lucky with injuries. You could say that about any club.
So again, they're putting low. They're expecting big things from Bruffer. You've said it many times.
No, I've said it. You know what? He had his feet and I've went on social media when they signed him. Said I've been his biggest critic, and I remain his biggest critic because I'll ask the question. And I'd ask Danny to his face. How many big games did you in Huddersfield, Danny, in the last 5 years? The answer's not many. He will win because he's a man with a point to prove, and we know what he's like when he's got a point to prove.
First year at any club, he will be a galvanising factor.
He will be magnificent. He's not a 5-year signing; he's a 1, maybe 2-year signing to get Wakefield where they need to be. And you know what? I credit Wakey. They've highlighted we need to be better in that area, and we're going to go, and it'll cost them some money
and
or whatever.
Got competition for places now in
and
the halves,
and they've gone for it. And I think keep them fit. I think their pack is fantastic. I think they'll make the 5. I think the other 2 places are only 2 of 6. I honestly wouldn't like to say.
The worry for me
about
is
Cass.
I worry about Hull.
I've said, someone asked me who do you think's going to win. Mentioned all. I went, no chance. I think they'll be in the bottom 4 all. I just think And people go, oh, whatever. They had a lot of injuries. Yeah, they did. Yeah. So what? Yeah, they were rubbish. Like, you don't lose 11 games.
Got to the start of play Hull, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You've not mentioned Salford.
Salford, I think, will be in the bottom two. Because they're going to be another
with
one.
Jackson Hastings?
No, they'll have a great side. But again,
no depth.
No depth.
It won't be a great side, but it's a good side, not a great side.
You know, they've got some Louis and I'm not being rude. Louis and Hastings will probably get in majority of Super League teams. You know, they're good players. But whereas I thought last year when they brought them in, they were running out of bodies. I mean, there were two masterstrokes bringing the Lussick and who is it in Hastings. But I think short term it works. I think long term it doesn't.
So who's your bottom then?
It's going to be London and I think it'd be London and
we've not
and
mentioned
Salford.
London.
You know,
supposedly announcing a signing tomorrow.
Yeah, they need to spend some money. I hope they don't go down, but they're going to be right in the mix. Let's be fair. You know, they're the new boys in town. It's going to be a struggle. We know how it works, but I hope they can. You know, I hope they get off to a good start and pick up some wins. But they're going to have to do some business. We're doing it now. The teams could be different in 2 months. You know, we don't know.
We'll go back and do it
again next week.
Yeah, but my point. But so they're my bottom. They'd be my bottom two. I think Hull KR are actually recruiting pretty well. I think Hull KR. Well, I'll tell you what. Hull KR will finish above Hull in the Super League, in my opinion, this year.
It wouldn't be surprised.
Can we have that as a double? Hull KR to finish above Hull FC and Wakefield to finish above Cats.
You know what? If you offered me that now, I would take that. And you know how passionate I am about it. I wanted Cats to win it last year. I just look at the lack of recruitment, and it's that ability to win the big game. See, you mentioned it. Saints have gone out and got some big players.
I don't mind lack of recruitment if you're building on the year before. But Cass actually didn't build on the year before last year. Now they had some very key injuries that hopefully those players will be out there.
But they still got themselves into contention and still didn't win when they had to win. Now they were down on troops, but even the players
how do you change that mentality
even the players
if you're not changing the players?
Even the players themselves said to me, "We don't know how to win big games." That was what the word was. And Darryl Powell went, "We need to change our mentality."
But how do you change your mentality if you don't change some of the players?
But have I just heard Mark Wilson, Richard Shaw writes, wait for the finish above Cass next season?
Yeah, I've said that for weeks.
Well, you're bonkers. You're both bonkers.
Wow.
You're both.
I'm not saying they don't both make the 5, by the way.
Castleford will finish above Wakefield.
What about Huddersfield? No one's mentioned them.
Just again, it's a squad depth thing.
I think it's trying to change too much straight away. I do.
No, I do. Again, what we do is say on Rick
Storm. The honeymoon period is finished now. And let Bruffy go and Marmo.
They'll be fitter.
Do you know what? Can I let you know a little secret? You know, it's my understanding that they let Bruffy go because all the players didn't want to play with him. That is my understanding.
Well, that's been the case for 2 years, hasn't it?
Well, therefore the coach has said, right, what needs to change? It's changing.
And I think if Ikehihifo stays, which I know that there was an economic imperative for them to move him on. If nobody will come in for him and match what he's on at the moment, and he stays, then you have to then build your pack around him. But I think they'll be fitter. They'll be harder to break down because defensively, I think that is exactly what Wolford will be working on throughout the entire. My worry is, you know, injuries you cannot legislate for, but you've got to have a depth of squad. I think there's a big gap still between some of the very talented kids that they're bringing through and them being long-term Super League players. My worry for Huddersfield more than any other club, except maybe Salford, would be 3 or 4 injuries to some of your big name players, and there is nobody else to bring in.
So who's your top 5, Phil?
Again, you can't look past Warrington and Saints. I think Wakefield will be in there. Because I don't see their standards dropping. I only see them getting higher, and they were 5th for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I think Leeds will be knocking on the door.
Catalans?
Yeah, possibly. My worry is Wigan, because every year we go, well, of course, this will be the year that Wigan will finish 6th, and Jake Shorrocks will get the number 6 shirt and have the wow of a season. I don't know. My worry for Wigan this year more than other years is I just don't know how the Adrian Lamb thing's going to work in the knowledge that Sean Edwards is coming the following year.
You've mentioned it without mentioning it about Wigan. You talk about attitude. Sean Wayne could have gone in the academy, the under-16s, and gone, right, lads, I'm picking a team on Friday. These are who we're playing, and you would be guaranteed a level of performance, whether it's the under-16, the under-19, or the first teamer. I think we underestimate, or we don't respect enough what Wayne did for that club. I think now he's gone. I think that we mentioned Tompkins and Bateman. Wayne's gone.
I think this year for Wigan, it's a confusion year, isn't it? It's a confusion year. It is.
I agree.
Nobody knows how it's going to work out because of the big dilemma. AJ Lamb, if he does the treble, he gets the sack. Replaced by
but what if he goes the other way and you lose a couple early on and you go in and there's a bit of a you're not doing it? He goes, well, hang on, you're not going to be in it.
You've got to factor in for Wigan the World Club Challenge.
Yeah.
Which again we all
Huge
know
takes
it's massive, and they're playing an incredibly good Roosters team. Not that you ever get a bad.
The bonus is it's at home, I guess.
Yes,
rather than they'd have
but
to go away.
Trent Robinson will play that game the respect it deserves.
Yeah, they're coming to win, aren't they?
Yeah, and they'll bring all his big name players that are available. So, but that's something that you've got to prepare for, and you've got to come down from and build up again. So I think the year Wigan won the World Club Challenge, they never kicked on and won anything else that year. Could be the same.
Toby's asked us if Wigan's big pre-season signing has made training today. I think we'd have heard if he hadn't.
But again, that's something that needs managing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think in fact we haven't even mentioned.
Who's your 5, Rich?
Saints, Warrington, Leeds, Catalans, Perm, any one of the rest.
Wakefield. You must think Wakefield.
You're going for Leeds finishing the top 5 then?
I
don't think they've signed the players they have not to finish in the top 5.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that, again, benefits Super League as a whole, which has been mentioned by people like Rob Elston, is the fact that if you can bring a Conrad Hurrell over, if you can bring a Trent Merrin over, then it's good for the competition.
Well, here's the other thing as well.
We're all going to want to see him in action, aren't we?
Well, and everybody's going to want to turn up to see them beaten, which is great.
South Stand fully open.
I'm looking forward to going to Headingley and watching it full when they play Wigan or a Saints. I can't wait. It'll be a special night.
We know about atmosphere.
It'll be a special night.
And in those facilities, when they're finished, they'll be fantastic.
Well,
honestly,
look good on the telly.
It will look good on the telly.
With lots of
look good on the telly when they're only 11,000 there. The temporary stand, it still looks great at Headingley. Yeah, annoyingly.
I'm looking forward to going there Boxing Day. It's officially open the South now.
The Weatherby Whaler
Boxing
Super
Day
Mega Challenge.
Yeah.
Be on the pitch.
And we're having special Christmas kits this year, like we did in the past.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Is that pretty much it?
I think so, yeah. Apart from
Scoy, you was getting relegated. Sorry.
Right, London.
Phil?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, unfortunately so. Paul did ask a question. Can I ask Scully why he didn't play in the last 2 tests of the 1988 series against Australia down under?
Depressed cheekbone.
There you go. There you go, Paul.
Came out early, didn't
you? Asked.
I did enjoy Ian's comment about the kind of people who run rugby league as a sport and exclusively. He says, where are the women and young people represented at board level? Barrow for 5th. Just get the prediction in there.
Barrow for 5th?
Barrow for 5th.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they keep up their home form, it was fantastic for a long time last year.
I think Newcastle are going to be a real threat in League One. I'm looking forward, Liam Finn directing them around and some of the signings that they're making. Missy Talapapa playing.
Yes.
Good for Newcastle. That's a big signing.
Will they be distracted by the 1895 Cup though, and the chance of getting to Wembley?
And hosting the Bash?
Are they not in it? Are they not allowed in it?
We'll see.
Excitement.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Positivity.
Exactly.